I get my hopes up every time, and I don't wanna be let down, neutral to find. I just wish I'd seen the price tag for my heart breaking. Was it worth all that waiting? When I
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome once again to hellohnclothing. Welcome to another wonderful video. So guys, in today's video we're going to be looking at a very unique sewing technique. We are actually going to be seeing how to give our clients that do not have butt or hips. We want to give them butt and hips in this video. So we're going to be making a very simple skirt with hip and butt padding. Okay, so if this is something you're interested in seeing, please do keep on watching. Don't worry, I have my client here, I have my model here that is going to be giving us the whole how would I put it, the whole experimentation we need. Okay, so let us keep on watching, and yeah, let's dive right into taking the measurements we need. All right guys, so we have a beautiful model here, and we are actually going to be seeing the kind of measurements we need. And you can see from her body structure, right, because clothing is very essential with your structure. With her body structure, you can see that yes, she's endowed in everything but we need to still just put some little spice of like hip and butt. Okay, so let us take the measurements we'll be needing. First of all, you need to take the waist measurement. So we're going to take the measurement where she puts her skirt. That's since we're doing a skirt, where she puts her skirt. So this is where you put your skirt, right? Okay, so that's 26 inches for me. Wow, she's a very tiny waist person. And then we take the hip measurement. You need to still take the normal hip measurement, so you can just, okay, and that is 33 inches. The next measurement we need to take is actually the length of the skirt. Okay, so wherever the skirt is starting to where she wants it to end. So we'll just do like a pencil length skirt up onto this point, which is 27 inches. Yeah, so we need to take her waist to hip measurement. Okay, so from where our waist is right onto where the hip sits, which is just 7 inches for me. I'll write that down. And then you also want to take our waist to under butt, right? So that's directly under where her bum sits. You want to take that measure because that will direct or show you where to pad what. Okay, so let's take that measurement. So from here, the waist right onto here, which is about 10 inches. Okay, so these are the measurements we need basically, and then we'll move on to drafting the pattern, the materials we need to use, and you're going to see her in just a bit. All right, now so we are down to looking at the materials we need for this project. We're going to be doing freehand. I've promised you more freehand tutorials. Okay, let's see how far I can go with it. We're going to look at the materials we need to make this beautiful skirt, and then we're going to talk about, then we'll go on to cutting and sewing up. First things first, you need your fabric. I'm going to be using Ankara fabric, and I'm also going to be using my lining. I've not done any drafting already. We'll do it together. I have my measurements that I've written down here for the model, the client. And then I'm going to be using shoulder pads, right? You can use shoulder pads, you can use foam. But since I have I'm using shoulder pads because the midpoint of the shoulder pad has the thickness, okay? While towards the end it's flattened out. So I'll be using shoulder pads for the padding. I can always double up if I want more fullness. And then I have my uhu glue. You see, I said uhu. B6000 or E6000, not uhu. You can use those too. Ruler, chalk, tape. Please, let's just get right into drafting and creating the patterns. Okay, so I'm going to take my fabric and fold into two first of all. Alright, so first things first, we're going to impute the skirt length measurement, and the skirt length we're working with is 27 inches. We are going to be using a band. This skirt is going to have a band. The band will be 2 inches wide. So I'm going to remove 2 inches from the 27 inches to give me 25 inches that I'm going to take the measurements on here, right? So for me to take 25 inches here, I need to also remember that I'm going to be hemming this skirt at the bottom. Depending on you, my hem is just going to be 1.5 inches, and then 1/2 inch at the top for joining the band to this skirt. So for this particular skirt, I'll still use 27 inches. The 27 inches includes the hemming at the bottom, 1.5 inches, and 1/2 inch at the top for sewing the band. So I'll just rule a horizontal line there, which shows me that's the skirt length. Now from this line, I'm going to be taking all the measurement, the skirt waist measurement. The waist we're going to be using for this particular skirt is 26 inches. I'm going to divide 26 inches by 4, and that is 6.5 inches. I'm going to take 6.5 inches. I'm also going to put 1 inch sewing allowance on the waist. That will be 7.5 inches. If I'm also going to be putting darts on this skirt, I'm going to put 1 inch for the dart as well, which is going to be 8.5 inches. So I will put 8.5 inches for this particular skirt, which is going to stop just about here. Now I'm going to measure my waist to hip length, how long that is, and it is 7 inches here for me. So I'm using 7 inches regardless of even the band. It's fine, it will work well. So I've marked that 7 inches line there. The next thing we want to do on this hip line is actually to take the hip measurement. Now, because we're going to be padding this skirt, you want to know the width of your padding, okay? You want to know how wide your padding is. Let me bring my pads. These are the pad pieces I'll be using, okay? So looking at this padding, just like this, is just about, let's see, this width is just about 1/2 inch. Now if I double it, that's if I make it 2, it's going to become, look at it, if I make this padding 2, it's going to become 1 inch. So the pad I'm using is just a 1 inch wide pad, okay? 1 inch wide pad, that's what I'm going to be using. So for it to be 1 inches wide, I need to then going to be multiplying 1 inches by 4, which is 4 inches. So that means this hip, on this particular hip, I should be having 4 inches extra, more than what the normal hip is. Her normal hip is 33 inches. So if I put 4 inches addition, which is going to be where the pad is going to be, is going to be 37 inches, right? So for that 37 inches, I will divide it into 4, divide your 37, that's your new hip, the expanded hip, okay? Divide it into 4. 37 divided to 4 is 9.25, that's 9 1/4. So this is 9 1/4 here, and then I'll put 1 inch sewing allowance to the 9 1/4, and that is 10 1/4, which is here. Okay, I hope you get the gist. And then when you measure what you have here, I'm having 10 1/4 inches here. I'm going to come to the bottom, just remove 1 inch from the hip measurement. So I'll come to the bottom and mark 9 1/4 inches. You can still make it more narrow and just do 9 inches at the bottom, since it's like a pencil skirt. So I need to connect what I have here to what is at the bottom, like this, and then I connect this one up here to what is at the waist, like that. Okay, so now that we have this, I can also lower this waistline by 1/2 inch in front here. Why am I lowering it? In the front you have your belly, you have that belly, so you want to leave for the natural waist, follow for the natural waist. Also, I'm going to mark where my dart is going to be. I'm going to be using 3.5 inches for my dart placement because of her size. So for small sizes, that is for this kind of waist, I'm going to be using a dart size of 3.5 inches, medium sizes 4 inches, larger sizes 4.5.
Always knew just how I felt.
So what I just did here was to actually measure the length of the dart. I used a 5 inches length and 1 inches wide, so ½ inch on both sides. Now I can cut out.
I'm looking back at the past and
Great. So now that we have this, I'm going to use this to cut the back as well.
regrets. I wanna walk on the block, see where we met. Try to forget.
Okay, so the only difference for the back is actually the zip, where the zip allowance is going to be. So we can use a 1 inch zip allowance, 1.5 inch zip allowance, depending on the slit you're putting at the back. So there's a lot of depending. It's so dependent on a lot of factors. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Exactly 1.5 inches. I will cut here. This one will not, remember the back should go up, right? So that ½ inch you removed for the front, please, for the back, your bum exists, so do not remove ½ inch. Don't slope it down by ½ inch. In fact, go up. Now just trim off the sides. Every other thing follows the same.
When I'm with someone else instead.
So I will snip the zipper allowance there. I'll also open it up here.
Maybe it's better if
Do well to do the same thing for the lining, okay? Do the same thing for the lining. So let's do all of that. Do the lining the same way. I'll place it, cut out, and then we will start plotting and planning every single thing up. Okay, so right now we need to plan where our padding is going to fall on there. Remember we took from the waist to the underbum, sorry. So from this waist here, I'm going to measure to the underbum, which is 10 inches here. That is directly under the bum for her. And then the padding will be starting just 1 inches below this waistline here, 1 inches below here. I'm going to start just about here, and then it should be stopping your knee. You need to measure waist to knee. So for instance, waist to knee should be about 18 inches here. Okay, so it should be stopping 2 inches before the knee, so which is here. I'm starting with the front. This is the front, so from here to here the pad should technically cover that. Okay, and the thickness is going to be here, okay, while the other one will flatten and relax into the body. I hope you get it. So from here to here is fine. This is where the pad will be. I'm going to double it on all 4 sides. So double here. Let me open up and show you. It's going to be like here, okay, here. You mark it, and at the back to left, right, like that. So that's what we're going to do. So the thickness, the thicker one will be on the side, and then the slimmer, you know, the shoulder pad has already been shaped and, like, how do I put it, slanted, shaped and all. So the slimmer one will go here. Now what we're going to do is we are just going to mark out these things for front, back, and for the lining too, because the major thing, this thing that is happening is going to be on the lining, not even on the main fabric. Well, we just need to mark it out here first of all. Let me put the back here, and then we'll mark it. here and here. I can use a, let me just use a chalk. Here and here. Here. Mark where it's going to also start from the top there. So you do the same thing for the lining. Once we're done with that, we are going to just go ahead to sew up the darts, okay? Sew up the darts, and then we are going to sew up the side seams of both the front, back, lining pieces, front, back, and then we are going to come back to start putting the padding. I'm also going to put the zipper, yes, of the skirt. So let me do all of that, and then we'll come back here. Alright guys, so I have gone ahead to sew the skirt. You can see that the zipper has already even been installed. This is the waist and this is the hip. Remember, the waist is the original waist of the client, of the model, of whoever you're sewing for, and then the hip is the expanded hip, okay? That's the one that will include the padding. So this is the main skirt ready, the slit ready. Okay, I'll keep that away. And then the lining is the same thing. So for the lining, remember that the waist and the hip, waist original, hip expanded, like what we did for the main one. So what we are going to do now is actually to put the pad on this lining. The padding will be on the lining. Also, do not forget to put in your measurements, mark your measurements in here. So from this top here, we're going to measure 1 inch down, remember? And then we'll measure up onto 18 inches, which is the knee line, then go up by 2 inches. So from here to here should be where the padding is. Do the same thing here, 1 inch down, and then measure the knee length. The knee length for me is 18 inches. Measure 2 inches up or 3 inches up, so I'll just leave it for 15. So between here and here, the padding will sit here, padding will sit here. You don't want to pad using your shoulder pad. Before we pad, let's prepare the padding. Remember, we're going to double it. Let me keep this here. We're going to double this. I'll use the thicker ones at the back and the ones that are not so thick for the front part. So I have my B6000. I'll just put the glue at strategic places so that it can merge together. Just squeezing it like a mustard stuff going on.
So I don't have to open up, and you don't have to lose my trust every time. Why am I always getting so attached?
Okay, so now we have 4 pairs that have been stuffed up together. I'm going to use the thicker ones for the back, which is like these two. They are more thick for the back part, and then for the front I'll use this one. So what I want to do now, this is the front, this is the back. You should be able to tell which is thicker. So I'm going to now merge them in the middle like this to make a sandwich. So this is like a toast bread, I'm going to put it together. You know when you cut the toast bread into triangle pieces. So I want to merge it together to give me this, which I am then going to attach to one side of the hip. Okay, so let me merge these two. You can use your glue, or you can go ahead to use needle and thread. So I'll just use the glue, and then I'll just put the glue right in the middle, like I'm doing a, you know, when you're preparing toast, that you're just using your jam or your marmalade your mustard to just coat the bread. So that's exactly what I'm doing now. Okay, so I'm just coating the toast right there in the middle because I want to merge them together. Okay, you can actually secure with needle and thread so that it's properly secured, or just be generous with your glue.
Now I wish I could turn you back into someone I never had.
Amazing. So now what we're going to do is take our lining. I'm going to open the wrong side of the lining. This is the wrong side of the lining, okay? And I've marked where exactly these things should be. Now the front part will be coming here, the back part will be going to the back, okay? So this is it here. This is the part is going to be starting from. I'm going to make sure that it's going to be on the wrong side, so on the inside, the part you do not see, okay? So from here right onto there, and I'm going to then use a needle and a thread to tack it. Tack here, tack here, tack here, tack here. Then the remaining part I'm going to use glue to stick it down. So that's what I'll do for this one, and then for the other one too, I'll do the same thing. So the front and the back. So I'll tack, 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 and then glue the remaining part down. So this is what I'll be having on the inside of the lining. This thing should be done on the lining. So let me get my needle and thread. We're going to go on to sew these things down, and then you'll be here. You'll see me sew it down.
Cause you didn't hide imperfections from the edge, yeah. Bet you don't even love you half as much as I want to. You're waiting, yeah. I'm looking back at the past and I feel regret. Don't wanna walk on the block saying where we met. Try to forget that you went on with someone else instead. Maybe it's better if I never love, so I don't have to open up, and you don't have to lose my trust every time. When my eyes get so attached, when I know that we're gonna crash. Now I wish I could take it back into someone I never had. I can't pretend I don't need you. I can't pretend I don't love you. I can't pretend I don't miss your touch. I want you so bad. I can't go cry on your shoulder. Feel safe with you when I'm older. Just know I tried to come back for you. I came back for you. Maybe it's better if I never love, so I don't have to open up, and you don't have to lose my trust every time. When my eyes get so attached, when I know that we're gonna crash. Now I wish I could take it back into someone I never had.
Alright guys, so you saw the process of putting this shoulder pads here, right here in the hip area, and then you just want to glue it for some extra holding at the parts where you did not tack. Please feel free to put more padding if you feel this is not just enough for you, for the kind of look you're going for. I'll let this air dry for a bit. Let this part just dry up. Please stretch as you put. You don't want some extra fabric to be bulking up somewhere, okay? Stretch it, and then once it dries, I'm going to take this skirt, that's the main Ankara piece, open up the zipper, get this part that we have done, put it right side facing right side. So let me place it this way. Remember, this is like the center front area, this is like the front, this is like the two back side. So I'm going to put it front facing front like this, and then I'm going to take the two back pieces on it like so, and I just want to go and sew this part to the zip. That's attach the zip area. So this zip should be sandwiched in between the lining and here. I'm going to sew that part. Do the same thing here, right? You can see what I'm just doing, just sticking it. I'm going to sandwich the zip in between there, okay? Sandwich the zip with the lining, and then just sew up the parts that where the zipper stops. Just sew up the rest closed. I hope you get the gist. So let's quickly do that, but remember to just let this dry up for a minute or two, then we sew that part up. So you can use pins to hold it in place so that it's going to be easy for you to sew. Okay guys, so we have finally put the padding on the lining, and I've sewn it like I told you I was going to. Gone ahead to sew up the lining close. So this is what we should be having on the inside. I'm turning it inside out now. Remember, I'm still going to finish off with the waistband and all of that. So yeah, this is just it. By the time she wears it, you will see the hip that this clothing will give her. So I'm going to finish up with the band, I mean, and then you're going to see the skirt in just a bit. Okay, so guys, if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give me a huge thumbs up, guys. Thumbs up this video, as well as subscribe if you're yet to. I love for you to join this family. It's not just enough for you to watch, you need to join the family. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what the highlight of this video was for you. If you're going to be trying this out for yourself or for your clients to achieve this heavily padded bum, okay? Yeah, and till we see in the next tutorial, stay safe, God bless you all. Bye.